The following is a presentation of the Eagles Sports Network.
Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here this morning. What a great day it is to be a Carson-Newman Eagle. A lot of great things have happened at Carson-Newman over the years, and we have several of our coaches here who have just done an extraordinary job impacting young men and young women's lives that they've come in contact with. For that, I thank you. I thank you for your dedication, and I thank you for the role models that you are and for the hard work you put in every day. And as everyone in this room knows, and certainly there may be some folks watching that don't know this, but Carson-Newman's vision is to become the premier Christian institution in the Southeast. And if we can do that, arguably, then we'll be the premier Christian institution in this country. And so there's some debate about we're getting pretty close. And today, I'm pleased to announce that we're taking it one step further at this university in obtaining our vision. I'm pleased to introduce our new Director of Sports Performance, Mr. Johnny Long. Johnny, as many of you know, has his own facility in Knoxville, Johnny Long's Training Academy, and I'll let him tell you a little more about that shortly. Prior to that, he served for 16 years at the University of Tennessee and as the head of their strength and conditioning department, where he worked with all sports. So, what a great day it is, what a privilege for me it is to stand in front of you and introduce our new Director of Sports Performance, Mr. Johnny Long. Let's give Johnny a hand as he comes forward. Johnny?
Supposed to sit down, I was told.
Oh.
All right, Johnny, if you would open us up a little bit about your vision for what sports performance at Carson-Newman will be about.
First, I'd like to thank Alan and was Coach Sparks. I saw him earlier. Coach Sparks and obviously Mike and the rest of the staff here, who's kind of helped get this going and making it something of a reality and coming to life. About a month ago, we were here and we were talking a little bit about how to take a program and start it in a great direction, as Coach Sparks had a vision of coming in and helping out the kids and just really trying to help them out and get to that next level. I guess a week ago we had an opportunity to sit down and talk even more, and the vision that Alan was talking about was really to come in and help all sports, not just one or two, three sports, but come in and really see what's going to help us get to that next level, as we were talking about. So with all the new technology and training and everything that's coming in, we want to make sure, he wanted to make sure, and I do too as well, was how to get to that level the right way. It's a lot of time and dedication, and I'm once again very blessed and was able to, for 16 years, to oversee every sport out there and was able to help build championships. Also, prior to that, I was at the Regional Olympic Training Center, where I was able to coach athletes as well and get those athletes where they need to be. One of the things that I really liked that we discussed was getting the strength and conditioning side of the curriculum going and trying to bring in a model out there that's going to be put hopefully across the United States, and one that we can concentrate on developing people as strength and conditioning coaches as they come along. So really excited to sit down with the education department and develop something out there that hopefully no one else will be able to come close to of touching. My job is to build this staff. For years and years and years, I've always had a strong staff that will help every athlete out there. I'm able to go out and talk to people and bring them in to the university and develop a staff that's going to be one of the greatest, I think. I think you will see the transition take place, and that in turn will help all sports, every sport. I tell everybody my first job at Tennessee was football and cheer and dance. And after that, it just took off. So I started to work with tennis, then I went right to baseball and then track and field. So there were a lot of opportunities for me to see different athletes work and the actions that were needed to take place to help them perform.
Why Carson-Newman? What brings you to Mossy Creek?
Well, that's probably a question that I've answered 1,000 times over the last 24 hours. And I brought my assistant up here the other day, and we were walking through campus, and he was meeting everybody. He was on his phone, and he said, he got off the phone, he goes, I just told my wife this is one of the nicest places out there, that it's not high stress, high level, and it's all like everybody's tight and wound up. You know, I've been at that level before. We understand athletes. We understand that is part of it, the wins and losses. We do get that. But I think the people here, the coaching staff here, the administration, everybody that I've met have been just first class at every step of the way. When I first walked into the building upstairs and was talking to Coach Sparks, he pulled the fast one on me and introduced me to Alan and walked out the room and shut the door. And I thought, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. What did I do wrong? And, but it was more of a relationship that we built within seconds that just felt comfortable. I've been around different schools. Over the last 6 years, I've been able to go out and travel around and visit with staffs and professional staffs as well. But the coaching staffs here, the people here, as I said, absolutely wonderful and opening arms to accept me as well. So I'm very blessed to be sitting in this room right now.
What do you want the athletes to get out of the programs that you'll be developing?
First and foremost, I want them to understand how to not only come in and take athletics as their only, source, but I want them to be great citizens and mothers or fathers and understand that life is going to be challenging all the way through. And, if we can help produce those great athletes into role model citizens out there and be able to deliver, what others can't, that's exciting to me. We have a chance as coaches to touch a lot of young people's lives, and we sometimes take for granted, that one person who needs our help. We're able to do that, and that's what I want them to know, that, life is going to be full of ups and downs, but as long as you keep your vision straight and as long as you are committed to doing the right thing, then great things will happen, for sure.
Any questions for Coach Long?
Yeah, you were a part of the University of Tennessee for a long time, and as you said, the atmosphere here is much tighter and people are closer. So yeah, elaborate further on some of the differences between the University of Tennessee and what you've noticed since you've been here.
Well, since I've noticed it's at Tennessee, when I was there was never we never enjoyed the championships, because people look forward to the next one or the next one and the next one. We understand that. Everybody in this room understands you have to win. It's part of collegiate sports and what you do. I think there's so much pressure on going undefeated nowadays that you don't really enjoy the success that comes along with a solid win season. They're hard. You get to a national championship. Not many coaches out there can say they've played or coached in a national championship. So to get to that level, that's where you want to get there, but you want to enjoy the process. You want your kids to understand that if you don't win that championship, it's okay, but you can win in that championship of life and teach them how there are a lot of other things that you're going to benefit from making it to that championship game, whether or not you win or lose. There is so much more out there, and to enjoy the experience and to enjoy the ride, that's probably a great accomplishment in itself. I feel that this is my first, 3 or 4 days here, but I feel that each and every coach understands that process, and that's first developing young men and women to be the very best they can be, and then those championships will come as long as we're all in it together and pushing for the same, title.
Title of sports performance. How will things like nutrition, health and wellness, the overall mindset of a student athlete be a part of what you develop?
Well, nutrition is probably 85% of the game, and we have to start talking to our athletes and trying to figure out exactly what they're doing. Those that are on campus, those that are off campus. How are we going to be able to give them to understand that rest is important? One of the things I've always said, when I first walked in here a month ago, I went right to the training room and talked to the head trainer. And Mike's been very open about everything, but not only nutrition, you have to learn to eat, rest, and recover. And part of that whole plan is so much more important than the weightlifting or the strength and conditioning side of it, is to be able to put it all together, watch your athletes' bodies change, and once again, when that starts to happen, then on top of all that, the performance level will be good. So we've got a few things that we want to look into. Basically right now it's making relationships and trying to understand the whole process on how it works before we just jump right in.
You've kind of alluded to it, but what's the game plan to manage all 19 varsity sports here?
That's a good question. I'm figuring that out at 3 o'clock this morning. It's a great process to have. A challenge, obviously, we're always up to. I think that in time, we're going to have, as I said earlier, some of the best strength coaches in the country that will come through Carson-Newman as a mentor, as a person who's relentless at building a staff. That's me. I firmly believe that we will have us a good staff in place, one that is first and foremost knowledgeable about everything that there is to know about the strength and conditioning world, and then to actually go out and implement it. It's going to take a little time, but the coaches here have been really excited. I've had probably 10 to 12 texts overnight, and if I can just make sure that we're on the right track, then I think that in time, their performance levels, like I said, we will only aid in everything that they have going on. And the thing that I will say, when I was over in the football office working, and me and Coach Sparks have, as I said before, had a great relationship together. One of the things that I was able to do was learn a little bit more even about how the system works around here, and how it it takes a little bit of time, and to make sure that we understand that things will happen, but we have to all pull together and work together to make it happen. Coach Redding here, as a strength, he's going to be I'm going to be his right-hand man in that weight room. So he and I have already been speaking a little bit about it. So my job is to, bring in some young coaches that understand it's called the grind in sports, and every coach sitting in here understands it. But first and foremost, get great people lined up, give them a direction to go, and then educate them on how we're going to make this system work.
Again, something you kind of touched on. This has been a pretty fast process getting you here. How have you felt like the Lord has led you to Carson?
Oh, unbelievable. That was a story within itself, and I don't mind saying this. It's a great story that me and Coach Sparks probably talk about it more than I've ever talked to anyone else about it. But I was pulling out of my driveway one afternoon, and I was just driving down the road, and something popped in my head to go pray. I passed 5 churches, had no idea what I was doing, and I went into church and I met this pastor, and he said, "Can I help you?" And I said, No, I don't think I need help. I'm just supposed to pray. I didn't really know the process back. So I started in church, and I was praying, and I was asking God to give me a direction. And I really had, no clue what that next direction was going to be in my life. We have Johnny Long's Training Academy back home. I have a successful equipment company, and I do some successful consulting. I just didn't have a direction. Well, I leave out and go to Atlanta, and I'm driving home from Atlanta, and 2 days later, someone calls me up after I left that church, and it was Coach Sparks. And he knew I wasn't going to tell him no. And when I got here, he and I immediately picked up right where we left off at. And, I went back to that church, and that same pastor that I met and was talking to, he said, what brought you here? And I said, God. But what really took place was that he was just waiting for me to ask him for a little bit more help so he could send Coach Sparks to me. And since I've been here over the last month, it has changed dramatically so much in my life. The way you talk about the differences, and the way you present yourself every day is so important. But with Coach Sparks, there's no other way than one way. And I think everybody in this room right here understands that way. And his walk is unbelievable to me. And he has had so much of an impact in me sitting in this chair. There was a lot of challenges prior to it, and the Lord just worked right through them, all the way through, Coach Sparks, right into Alan, who he and I both have had fun over the last 2 or 3 days joking with everybody when they walk around, and it's been a blessing for me. So to say that this just happened to happen, that's not true. This happened because, the Lord is directing me to sit right in this chair today.
Anything else for Coach Long? All right. Thank you very much, and welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Well,
Let me just say.